Ground control to Major Tom.
This is ode to our last subject, which was the BlackNight satellite.
Space makes you feel so insignificant.
That's right.
They're there and we're here.
I wonder how much coke he was on when he came up with this.
Dude, he shaved his fucking eyebrows. He was
I'm gonna shave my eyebrows off.
Call me Ziggy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of ANR. I am your host, Michael Gregorian, and with me, as always, is my trusty horse, Dizzle.
It is I.
We are without the Mexicants, Patrick and Victor, because this is such...
Ice got them.
Yeah, Ice got them.
After the last episode, they zeroed in on them. Got them right out the front door.
Even though they're born here, Ice still got them.
They took Victor to Riverside and Pat to Locker Center. I don't know how they get by.
Basically, this podcast is brought to you. I want to just get this off the top of our heads. This podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audio download and a free 30-day trial at audibletrial.com/Armenian Nights. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from. My favorite is, of course, The Stone Cold Truth by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
What?
Steve?
Huh?
Hey, Steve.
I'm kind of confused.
Poor Steve. I feel bad for Steve now.
What would be? What's your favorite book that you've ever read?
I like The Indian in the Cupboard. That
was a good one.
That was one of my favorites as a young tween.
So what did we talk about last time? Yes, we talked about the BlackNight satellite. So
what is the BlackNight satellite?
This is part 3 of our series on the BlackNight satellite, and we're going to wrap it up with this one, basically to kind of go over what it was. BlackNight satellite is something that has been orbiting the Earth for, quote-unquote, 12,000 years. That's what they think. And just to kind of recap, one of the very first incidences that we have about the BlackNight satellite is Tesla heard these repeating radio signals in 1899, thought it was coming from outer space. Then fast forward to 1928, and scientists detected these LDEs, which are long delayed echoes. Basically, they sent a signal out, it bounced off something and gave an echo back. They weren't expecting it for it to bounce off something and come back so fast, so it kind of baffled them, the scientists. Then we have the next incident is in 1960. There was a radar screen that was designed by the U.S. Navy to detect enemy spy satellites. It picked up something orbiting the Earth, and there was no one at the time that had anything orbiting the Earth. This was in 1960. Then the next
when
major...
When did Sputnik come out?
Sputnik was in 63. I don't know. I'll look it up right now. Essentially, they were saying that this thing that was detected wasn't anything of capability of any of the nations that could put something out in the air. So
Back then.
Sputnik. Then in 1963, Gordon... Oh, sorry. Let's go back.
1957 Sputnik was in space.
Yeah, 1959... the Discoverer missions were basically they're the stepping stones to launching a man into space. Supposedly, they had one of their test rockets had a little piece of, like a casing come off of their satellite, come off of the rocket. And,
piece of the booster. Yeah,
and that's what they're saying that the thing that was orbiting was. Because remember I said in 1960, someone detected that there was something orbiting. But in 1959, in the Discoverer missions, they said that a casing fell off of the rocket, and that's what that thing is. So fast forward to 1963, Gordon Cooper, who is a well-renowned astronaut and scientist, and he's big in ufology, he reported seeing a greenish UFO during his 15th orbit on Mercury 9. And supposedly, it was witnessed on the radar screens by approximately 100 people, okay? So there's 100 people orbiting it, and that's okay. I know the time. And then go to 1973. So this is the really kind of the big one, okay? In 1973, there was a researcher, Duncan Lunan, okay? He reanalyzes like a fucking nerd. I wrote that on there, like a fucking nerd. The LDE data, which was the long delayed echoes. Okay, so he took the data that they had in 1928, he reanalyzed it, and he basically plotted a star chart, and he came to the conclusion, or the conclusion was, it came to a conclusion that this satellite is based
This is
in
in the
the Epsilon
70s.
Buddhist. Yeah, 1973. Okay, so 1973, Duncan Lunan goes back, mulls over all the research and all the data, comes to the conclusion that this BlackNight satellite was appearing to be transmitting like its coordinates, and it was pointing to Epsilon Buddhist, which is a star constellation.
When's this last time they actually saw this? Like, if it's there, I'm
Well, no
sure
one's
this
seen it
time-
yet up until now because we're at 1973, so no one's really actually seen it physically with their eyes. But
They just know it's there because it passed.
yeah,
over.
they know it's there based on like radar echoes and stuff that they're putting out, and like I said, LDEs. They send out a radio signal, then they get something bouncing back. But up until then, they haven't actually physically seen anything, or there hasn't been any like actual pictures or anything like that. So good thing you asked, because in 1998 there was the shuttle Endeavour.
X-Files.
Okay, so Endeavour goes out. It makes its first flight to the ISS, the International Space Station. Okay, a lot of astronauts have pictures or cameras, because it's a big event. That's where we see, and I'll show you on the screen, that's where for the first time, we see a picture of the BlackNight satellite, which is, that's what they dubbed it. So that's
Why
where we're
do they
at so
call it the
far.
BlackNight satellite.
I don't know. You know what? I've actually wondered that, and I have no
Does it
clue.
look like a knight?
Oh,
No, it has nothing to do with Batman.
No, yeah, it had to do something with
It looks. I think it looks like a suit of armor in some parts. It's kind of hard to see. We're looking at a piece of shrapnel flying thousands of miles above the Earth.
Yeah, I'd have to really do some research to find out exactly when it was first dubbed the BlackNight satellite. But I think in newspapers in the 50s, once they said that there's something that's circling the Earth and it's not of origin like that we put it out there, I think the newspapers in some of the articles dubbed it the BlackNight satellite.
God, think of that. You can just write a story. There's a dark satellite out there. And people are like, okay.
Yeah, okay, I believe you. So anyways, that's the evidence that they have so far. We've got the LDEs that were happening in 1928. Then we've got someone noticing on a radar that there's something circling the Earth. Then we have 1963, Gordon Cooper saying that he saw something. Then we have 1973, where Duncan Lunan, the nerd, goes back and reanalyzes the LDE data and comes to the conclusion that it's pointing to a certain part in the sky. That's actually also where he came up with that it's 13,000 years old.
So maybe he's thinking it's a pointer, like a
Exactly, saying
like a gigantic laser pointer.
yeah, like I'm from here. That's what he's supposing. That was his supposition.
So okay, what's happened now? 98.
Endeavour?
Endeavour saw it.
A lot of people saw it in 1998 because there's a lot of astronauts that were on the Endeavour that were going to the International Space Station. And since it was such a monumental big event, a lot of them obviously brought cameras and video cameras and stuff.
To have back then.
Yeah, and it's 1998, so the technology's gotten a little bit better.
So at this point, I imagine with computers and stuff, there must be at least some more pictures than just that.
Well, there is. Look, there's more than one picture of the same thing. So if you actually put in
do that one with the space shuttle. Go down a little bit. That gives it like a little bit of.
It gives you kind of perspective, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to this one. So now what we're looking at on the screen for people that are just listening is a space shuttle that's in orbit, and to the left of it, stage left, we see an object that's what appears to be the BlackNight satellite. And if you keep looking on Google Images, you'll find a lot better pictures of the same thing. So here we're looking at on the screen. Here's a really, really, really good picture that's blown up, and it's not from that Endeavour mission. So if you look on the internet, you'll see a lot of different pictures. Here we're looking at a picture from Earth. Someone circled it. They pointed it out.
You can see it like that up in the sky?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And
like
it makes a weird orbit that's really tight. To Earth.
It goes from north to south.
Exactly. It goes on a polar orbit.
What do you think,
rather than an equator orbit. I don't know, man.
What say you? I don't know.
I say that we don't know because there's no way for everybody to say like, see, look, here's another picture.
Well, those are the frames it was on a video
Exactly.
tape. Those are all different frames.
Exactly.
That explains why it moves around.
Yeah.
What an odd shape. What an odd thing. What if it's just some fucking alien's jacket? Just
That's what they're saying. They're saying that basically it was a blanket, a space blanket that broke off from the
mission in the 50s.
Yeah, from the mission in the 50s. So I did a little bit of research, and basically every point that I just explained, there's there's debunking. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what we're going to get to right now.
Let's figure out.
So here goes the
I wanna hear
debunks.
what they say about
Okay,
that.
so let's start with just Tesla. Tesla said that he heard something coming from outer space. He was right. What we found out in 1968 is they're actually pulsars, which are giant deep space sources of pulsing radio signals. Okay, so that explains he was right. There was a radio signal.
How did they figure that by like?
If you actually look into pulsars in 1968, they formally discovered it and actually pinpointed it with the scientific evidence that what we're hearing right now are pulsing radio signals. Okay, so he was kind of right, but at the time he didn't have a way of explaining it because it was 1899.
Yeah.
They hadn't really phenomenon of having radio signals or originating out in space hadn't really come to fruition yet.
They shot X-rays into their feet like it was nothing.
Yeah. Then we have the LDEs, right? That was in 1928.
Okay.
Well, this is the one the Norwegian scientists did indeed receive LDE radio reflections, but there's a bunch of different theories, but there's no concrete, this is what it is, definitive proof. So we're just going to chalk that one up to who fucking knows.
Yeah.
So there's a who fucking knows on the LDE, right? Here's the interesting part. The guy, Duncan Lunan, that said that he plotted it and it went to Epsilon Buddhist and it's pointing to a different part in the sky. When he did the research, he never had any thought of the BlackNight satellite. Because when you read, this guy, read over the data LDE and it's saying that the BlackNight satellite is saying that it's coming from this constellation. No. He never went into it going like, what is this BlackNight satellite? Oh, it's pointing to this. He even said afterwards that he acknowledged that his method was not only unscientific, but he'd made a lot of errors. So he actually retracted his own statements. So that kind of debunks that because that's one of the major things that people point to is they're like, look, this scientist plotted this star map and it's saying that it's pointing to this constellation.
You know what's a way that I deal with all conspiracy theories nowadays? I just figure if it's really cool, chances are no. Like if it seems like something's
too good
really
to be true,
cool,
kind of.
Yeah, and it usually always is. Like, oh my god, is there a flying man? And you're like, no, it was just a commercial. And just prepare to take a step down from your excitement, and then you'll be able to see more of these things through. Because I don't know.
Yeah, and
That'd
then
be rad if this thing was true, but
I know that's the thing is half of these conspiracy theories. I've said this to you is suspending reality and believing that something like this could happen. It's like we all know the dragons aren't real on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, right.
But
they're real.
in our head, we kind of be like, wouldn't it be fucking cool if it was? I think conspiracy theories, in a way, occupy that space in your brain that wants an answer for something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted laser swords when I was a kid, all because of Star Wars.
So listen, you know how in 1960 they had the Discovery mission? They said that a piece of the rocket
from the 50s came up.
It came out in 1992 when the CIA declassified a lot of their files that there was a project called Project Corona. And what Project Corona was...
Corona, fool.
Yeah, what Project Corona was is that there was Mexicans out in space and they're throwing their bottle caps out of the window.
That's what it was.
And they're like, hey, fucker.
Space Mexicans, fool.
Hey, space Mexicans. Hey, someone's going to think that's a fucking black day, fool.
They'll think it's Batman, fool. Don't worry about it, eh?
Nah, it's cool, Holmes. I know Christopher Nolan,
left
fool.
my fucking jacket out there. Another fucking...
Hey, fool. Hey, I got a question, fool. Hey, but what do we do with the Corona bottles, fool? Just throw them out the window, fucker.
Hey, to give it to Tesla, fool. He'll fucking take care of it.
He'll figure it out,
Hey,
Holmes.
Tesla, you fucker.
That fucker's smart. He knows what he's talking about, eh?
Brainiac.
Brainiac dum-dum.
Well, I guess that answers that. We got to the bottom of that one this time, Scoob.
Yeah. No, that's right, Scoob.
We didn't even need Victor. And
so listen, so the Project Corona, it basically came out that in the 1960s, under the guises of them sending rocket-fueled rockets, rockets out into the orbit.
What an idea.
What they actually were doing is they're actually sending out satellites, spy satellites, that were taking pictures of our enemies. And as it was orbiting the Earth and taking pictures of the enemies, because there wasn't digital film and there wasn't, the kind of processing for film like there is now, once it would take the pictures, the satellite would drop out the roll of film, then some sort of a craft, would come and scoop up the picture, the rolls of film, so then it can be developed. So
Film
in actuality, they were
digital.
they were actually seeing something orbiting. But at the time, they didn't want to say, "Yeah, we sent a satellite
With our
out there."
super satellite.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Well.
So I'm very confused because normally we have a countdown timer, and I think that we have like 4 more minutes. We don't have 4 more minutes. How much time do we have? 2 more minutes? About 3. Okay, we'll wrap it up. So yeah, Project Corona, they were having KH-1 cameras that were in deorbit, and they're popping a parachute, and then the parachute opened up, and then they're like, "Hey, fucker, give me
like
some carne asada." Basically, those are all the major points, and it's kind of been debunked, you know. And as far as Cooper's flop back and forth on the side of aliens, no aliens, but he's also seen a lot of different things. So his statement that he saw something, a greenish black night in 1963, there's no definitive proof and there's nothing to debunk it. So there's a couple things that we don't know. There's a couple things that we do know. So it basically leaves us with the Endeavour photo. They were doing a lot of EVAs, which are extravehicular activity. When they'd go out and they do the spacewalks, they're saying that when they did the spacewalks,
fucking around.
When they're fucking around out there drinking a Corona, they're saying that one of their space blankets broke off, and that's what we're seeing these pictures of. So these pictures are debris, space debris from us. And when they were doing the moonwalk or the spacewalks, that's what it's from.
If we were fucking up there in space, do you know how much shit? I would lose more than just the blanket. It'd be like 3 sets of keys, a cell phone fucking flying over.
The click-clack to your Apple TV.
Like 12 Apple TV click-clacks just all in unison. The fucking sober click-clack.
But you know, like, if you wanted to buy another click-clack, where could you find something like that?
I don't even know. I have to look online, maybe.
Good thing I said that because you can go to Amazon.com. That's right. That's our last sponsor for today. Go to Amazon. Actually, here's what you do. Go to Armenian Nights. Go to Armenian Nights Radio. Click on the Amazon banner. Once you do, bookmark it, because anything you buy going forward, we get 75% of that money.
All of it.
That's right. All of it. And please go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, leave us a comment.
Write us a message.
Write us a message. Write us to anightsradio@gmail.com. Check out all of our videos because we're actually live streaming this right now. You can go to AN Radio on YouTube. You can go to Armenian Nights Radio on all the other social media platforms, Facebook, anything like that. Also, you can go to the Network Studios, which is where we're recording this beautiful, lovely vodcast, and you can go on their page.
Times we're going to be in the studio, right?
Yeah,
they're almost time to move studios.
They're moving to a bigger and better because they're just bursting at the seams. They have too many shows. So you can check out these videos on the Network Studios. You can also go to YouTube, and you can also go to social media. I'm pretty sure that's all the time that we have for today, but please do us a favor. Keep searching, keep looking into the stars, and yeah,
the truth is out there.
The truth is out there. Right. You just got to find it.
You have beats, Mike? There's no. Oh, you didn't.
There's no beats.
We're
gonna take it out with Ground Control to Major Tom.
Yeah, take it away, Bowie.
This is Ground Control to Major Tom.
Hey, fucker! This fucking shit's dope, fool. Project Corona. What happened to your eyebrows, fucker? Cinched it off, fucker. Oh, shit! He got drunk here.
You wear. Now it's time to lead the capsule if you dare.